What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we're going to be checking out the Lochby Quattro. This is a travel case designed to carry and protect 4 of your pens, hence the name Quattro. However, I adapted mine to carry EDC gear instead, naturally, since this is an EDC channel. And you can pick up the Lochby Quattro for around $35 if you utilize my code UncommonEDC. I'll put that code as well as a link to where to find these in the description of the video if you're interested in checking this one out. I am an affiliate with Lochby, however, I did purchase this one myself. One of my favorite things about the Quattro case is that although the design was clearly focused on storing and protecting the pens on the interior, it also offers some really great exterior storage options. And if you've seen some of my other pouch videos, you'll know that I don't often utilize the pockets on the exterior of the pouch because a lot of times they're not super usable. They're really tight, you can't get things in and out very easily, and the interior cannibalizes most of that space. But I think this one's really well thought out with easy access to the items, and some of the pockets are a little bit more generous than we typically find on the exterior of pouches, allowing you to put some thicker objects rather than just cash and receipts and things like that. And another thing I really like about it is with the width of this, which is about 4 inches wide, I'm easily able to drop it in the back pocket of my jeans. And that's fully loaded out exactly as you see it. This drops in the back of my pocket, no problem whatsoever. And so that's a really great thing as well, especially with some of these exterior pockets, as we'll see when we get into that segment. So exterior dimensions are about 4 inches wide, 6.7 inches tall, which is going to accommodate a majority of the pens that you're going to find on the market. There are the kind of oddball rarities that are 6.5, 7 inches long, maybe even longer than that aren't going to fit in here. But a majority of pens are probably about 5.7 to 6.3 inches long, and those are going to have no problem slotting into the interior of this pouch. It also is fairly lightweight, unloaded at about 1.9 ounces, and that's thanks to the exterior material, which is wax canvas, just like all other Lochby products. I'm a huge fan of wax canvas because I think it looks great, it's durable, it's weather resistant, it's not waterproof, so definitely don't submerge it, but if you spill on it, take it out in the rain, the water's going to bead right off of there. It also develops a sort of patina over time, similar to leather, where you're going to get these scratches and marks, and I just think it looks better and better over time as it wears in, and so big fan of that. They also offer it in a few different colors. I always go with brown for Lochby products, so I stuck with the brown, but they have a sort of rustic color palette to choose from. You can do the brown, charcoal black, or navy blue. Interior on all three are going to be the same, which is that sort of signature Lochby yellow. It's this high-vis yellow, and all of them are going to have that on the interior as we see when we open this one up. Let's start with the exterior pockets and then we'll work our way to the inside. So right off the bat, you can see it has another sort of pen slot over here on the left side. It's not really a dedicated pen slot, but you can use it for that. I think it works especially well for mini pens, especially if you can clip them on here. With this loaded out and this thicker item, which is a Sharpie style pen, it's not going to shake loose. It's in there pretty snugly and securely. But if you have it empty, that pocket gets a little bit looser and this can fall out of there. So definitely worth noting, utilize a pocket clip if you want to make sure that it's not going to fall out, but this fits pretty snugly, and obviously with the correct orientation, it's not going to be dumping out all over the place. And so the other nice thing about that pocket is that it actually wraps all the way around. So it's the same pocket as this back pocket. So if you put cash or receipts in there, they'll just kind of fold around the spine. But the nice thing about that is that you can utilize this to carry wider items. Like for example, if you want to put a pocket knife, you just kind of put it in there at an angle and it will act as the spine of this case. And you can still carry those on the exterior. And again, it's pretty generous in sizing. So you should be able to put a little bit larger knives on there. And right now I have a Sharpie style pen with this quick draw ring on it. This is from Spartan Blade Works, so it's not actually a Sharpie, but it is just a permanent marker with that quick draw ring, so you can easily get it in and out of there quickly. And I thought that was nice so that you have something to write with on the exterior. You can also use this as sort of a last ditch self-defense impact tool if you really want to, but I just have it in there as using as a pen. Next to that, we have a credit card slot. And so this is really cool because it can easily, even fully loaded out, carry 3 to 4 credit cards. You can see I have 1 credit card as well as this Write in the Rain style notebook, but you can put 3 to 4 credit cards in here, and because you can slot it into your back pocket, it does make a viable wallet alternative if you want to use this as your dedicated wallet while also carrying some gear or some pens around. And so really nice, and that's pretty snug again, where it's not going to dump out if you flip it over with items on the interior, and it can fit a decent number of cards, probably a little bit more if you don't have it fully loaded out, but easily can slot 3 or 4 cards in there, which if you just carry your ID, debit card, credit card, and maybe like a club card of some sort, that's all you're really going to need. On the back side, This one's secured with a Velcro closure, which is great because it's a little bit more generous sizing than we find on a lot of our pouches. I can get my fingers all the way down into the bottom of there, no problem, meaning that you can use this for the same typical items, cash, receipts, things like that. But if you want to put a USB flash drive or other small objects that are a little bit thicker, there's no problem getting them in and out of here, and it works really well. The only thing worth noting is that Velcro closure does not go all the way across. You can see where it's sewn in, and so on either end there is a potential where items can dump out of there, but again, it's pretty snug and secure, so unlikely to happen, but definitely something to keep in mind if you are storing other types of objects in there. You can see that I utilize that side space to put a pry bar. This is the OEG EDC Good Luck Pry, and so that fit in there perfectly, and it had a pocket clip, so don't have to worry about it falling out of there. We can open up that Velcro closure, and inside I just have some quarter folded bills in there so you can carry your cash as well as your cards. And like I said, pretty generous sizing, so I have 3 fingers in there, no problem. I can even move them back and forth a little bit. I may even be able to slot my pinky in there. Yeah, I can slot it in there. It's a little bit tighter, but plenty of room to just reach down. If you have smaller objects on the bottom, you're still going to have access to them without just having to dump everything out. On the zipper, we have a YKK zipper, color match paracord on there, and the zipper itself is also coded to match it. The fob on here is a Tech Accessories glow fob, so this is the only thing that doesn't come with it. This one has Embrite in it, so it does require a charge. It's not tritium, unfortunately, but just a nice kind of high-vis item. If you set it down in the dark and this is charged, you can easily find it. And so just kind of quick clip-on thing there. And it does open full clamshell, so you can see the entire interior contents as soon as we open it up. And first thing you'll see is that high-vis yellow. It's a sort of nylon on the exterior and this sort of plush interior. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's ultra soft, and so it's not going to scratch up your pens if you have expensive pens in there. As you can see, I went with some other types of objects. There's 4 dedicated pen slots. There's also 2 slots that I don't think were ever intended to be used, but I wanted to make use of them, so I stuffed something in there. But I think these are just buffer slots so that the pens are the right size slots. But as you can see, too narrow to fit a pen. I kind of went back and forth on what to put in there. I thought about maybe zip ties or something like that. I put a titanium toothpick in there, but it didn't have a pocket clip, so I was worried about it falling in there and not coming out. But I did eventually find some items to stuff in there. But 4 dedicated pen slots is the point. And so on the left, I do have an actual pen, and I wanted to put something a little bit thicker to show that this can accommodate thick pens, thinner pens. It can even accommodate thicker than this. But this is the CountyCom Embassy pen, and this one is brass, really thicker pen, heavy weight, and it slides in there no problem with room to spare, as you can see. So if you have something that's significantly thicker than that, you're gonna have no problem slotting it into there, and all of the pockets are about the same width, and so they can all accommodate those larger pens if you choose to store them in there. Next to that, I went with one of these bit drivers. This is just like any of the tool brands that you'll find at your hardware stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace that they make, but this one is also from CountyCom, just like that pen, and it has a cap on either end that has reversible bits in there, so you have larger and smaller Phillips on one side and a larger and smaller flathead on the other side, and these are only a couple bucks. In those slots next to it, I just have these straws. They're sold like this by Wazoo. You can make them yourself as well. You can see they crimp and seal the ends of them. One has some thin gauge wire and one has some Kevlar cord in there. And so just some extra cordage if I ever need it, and it stuffs in there nicely. It takes up no extra space, so I figured why not put it in there. And it's snug enough that it doesn't slide down, so I don't have to worry about it. You can see I'm not utilizing the full end of the space, but it's not going to push down on there and get lost in there and be difficult to pull out. Next to that though, I have a knife, and so I went with the CRKT CEO just because it is nice and slim and it fits in that pen slot really well. Not going to be a lot of knives that will fit in here, but again, you can put one on the exterior if you really want to carry a knife in this case. That's obviously not what they're made for, so not really optimized for storing knives, but I did want to show I have a handful of knives that can easily slot in here, no problem, as long as they're narrower and have a pocket clip that you can clip on there, no problem. Next to that, I have a flashlight, and then this is again a thicker item, even thicker than the Embassy pen, and so again shows that if you have those thicker pens, they're going to fit in there no problem. This is the i3T. I think an i5T would fit in here as well, and that one uses AA instead of AAA, but I went with the i3T because that's what I had nearby. And again, I utilized that last extra buffer slot to put that Kevlar cord in a sealed straw. And so that's everything that's in here. Not made to store a whole lot, but there is some padding in between the lining, so it has this ultra plush material in between between that, there's a thin layer of padding, and then you have the wax canvas protecting it from scratches and things like that. And so it's going to protect it from drop scratches and then keep the interior is nice and soft, so it's not going to scratch itself. The only thing to maybe keep in mind is if you have pocket clips on them, that they may rub against each other. I personally, if I'm worried about the pocket clip getting all scratched up, would just put a folded hank inside of here, and it will separate the two and keep them from rubbing up against each other. But otherwise, not really something you have to worry about, fully protected outside of that. Or you can even tuck the pocket clips inside of the pocket so that they're not rubbing up against each other without putting any sort of divider in here. But really cool pouch. I have most of the Lochby lineup at this point, which is one of the reasons I wanted to check this one out. There are some new products coming out that I'll be checking out as well, but let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member, or checking out some of my other videos. It all helps the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.